Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day, and everything's going to be okay. In this video, I'm going to be showing you what you need to do to get EXOCRAFT vehicles and the beacon blueprint and get the recipes to grow crops and all that stuff in No Man's Sky Next, because it used to be a lot easier to get those things. You could get them a lot earlier in the game, but since No Man's Sky Next, they made it a little bit more difficult. So what you have to do to get EXOCRAFT and all those other things, first you need to do some of the main story, the Artemis storyline or Atlas Rises storyline, whatever you want to call it. It's the storyline that starts out with Artemis contacting you, and then eventually it leads to you meeting this guy, Apollo. So at the point of the storyline when you meet Apollo, you'll do some stuff for him, and then this next part will happen. No matter, we have what we need. I recorded countless signal flares, blah blah blah. We're on the right track. They're linked, I know it. Good luck. I'll speak to you on the other side. So the next thing he's going to do, I'm gonna jump to when he tells it to me. So I will cut to when he tells me about what I need to do next. Oh yeah, I have to travel to where he is in another star system. So once I do the jumps to get to that star system, I'll cut to that part and I'll show you what happens. Found out that sometimes Apollo will skip the part where he teaches you how to do base building, and you get the base specialist blueprint. So I got that bug on this save. I didn't get the bug on my first save, but next you have to go to the part with where you first meet Null. I'm going to skip through this real quick. And you get the Mind Arc recipe. It's a good thing I'm going over this, because I think a lot of other people have gotten this bug, which has prevented them from getting the base building specialist, and that's why a lot of people haven't been able to get EXOCRAFT yet and other things. I think a lot of players don't even know about all that stuff yet, and they just haven't even noticed that there's a bug with this. But people that do know about EXOCRAFT and everything are starting to wonder why they can't get it. So there's a lot of bugs that are preventing it. But now I've got this mission objective that tells me to go back and talk to my scientist at my base. So I'm pretty sure that there is some way for me to get base specialists at this point so that I can do that part. So I'll come back once I figure out how to get base specialists, and so we can continue and get blueprints for EXOCRAFT and everything like that. Alright, I think I figured out what's wrong. Little history lesson here. Before No Man's Sky Next, there was a tutorial that would give you the constructor terminal. That's the thing we need right now to start getting all the base building stuff, including the EXOCRAFT. But it seems to be a bit bugged because they've changed a lot of the tutorials around. So right now, if I go to specialist terminals in my build menu, I only have the science terminal, and that's because the main story is telling me to build the science terminal to get the ingredients to craft the Mind Arc for the storyline, but there's no constructor terminal. Constructor terminal is what you really need to do all the base building quests. So the old tutorial that would give you the constructor terminal would have you build a cylindrical room. It used to be really easy to build a cylindrical room. It just required a little iron, but now it requires 350 pure ferrite. So that makes it really unlikely that most players would build it, and so they wouldn't stumble upon this little trick to get the tutorial to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a cylindrical room, and yeah, it just says mission updated, planetary base construction, build a construction terminal. So there's this invisible tutorial that we can't see anymore that tells you to build a cylindrical room, but there's no way to see it. It's not in our UI until you build the cylindrical room. Then you get the terminal for the construction terminal. So they've messed up the tutorial so that it currently isn't possible to build the construction terminal until you build a cylindrical room. Only somebody like me who played the game before No Man's Sky Next would be aware of that, would be aware that you have to build a cylindrical room before you get the construction terminal. Now, like I said, Apollo's quests in the main story will give you this tutorial, but sometimes it skips that. Like on this save, like I said, it skipped Apollo's tutorial that starts you on base building. So some players, not all, but some, are getting really frustrated because they can't get the EXOCRAFT and all that, because they must have missed this tutorial in the main story, or they didn't do the main story yet, and there's nothing in our quest log that shows planetary base construction. This was not in my log before I built that cylindrical room. Planetary base construction suddenly appeared after I built a cylindrical room. So I'm making this video not only to let people know how to get started on the base building quests, but also I'm gonna put this video in a link in a bug report to Hello Games and let them know, Hello Games, you need to fix the planetary base construction quest so that it appears as soon as you start your base building, as soon as you first build a base building computer. Otherwise, most players won't know about the construction terminal. They won't have the blueprint for it yet. And there's no way for them to know that they need to build a cylindrical room. So they need to either take out the part where you have to build a cylindrical room, or just make the quest visible as soon as you build your first base. So that's what's confusing a lot of people. So once you do that and you get the construction terminal, you just need to go to the space station. It's pointing me to the space station right now. Hire a constructor, and then you'll start the base building quests. And once you finish the quests for the constructor, he will give you the blueprint for the EXOCRAFT terminal, and you'll be able to do the EXOCRAFT quests. I might do a part 2 of this video to show you when you get the EXOCRAFT terminal, but for now, this should be enough information to get you started on doing your base building. So a lot of the blueprints that you may be missing, like the beacon, farming, EXOCRAFT, all of that is because you haven't been able to get your constructor terminal yet. And the secret to doing that is to build a cylindrical room, and then the planetary base construction quest will appear in your log. So that is basically how to get EXOCRAFT and all that other stuff. I'm not showing you how to do that in this video, but these are the steps that you have to do in order to get started on all of it. I don't think you necessarily have to do the main story. You don't really have to do the Apollo and Null and Artemis stuff. I think all you have to do is build a cylindrical room. It costs 350 pure ferrite. So if you want to get started on all this at the beginning of the game, I think all you have to do is build a base computer and then build a cylindrical room. And they've just got the tutorial messed up, so there's no way to know that at the beginning of the game. So that's it. That's how to get started on the base building quests so that you can eventually get EXOCRAFT and everything else that comes with the base building quest. So, like I said, I might do a second video about this later when I actually get the EXOCRAFT terminal and all that, but for now, I have been Mac. Thank you for joining me for a day. And remember, everything is going to be okay.